for most young people, especially like if you're using the first time deposit scheme or something like that, you can get into a 600K asset with 30, 40 grand. If that performs at 5%, you've made 30K.
Yeah.
As opposed to say you get into $30,000 worth of shares and it grows, even if it grows, 10%, you make what?
Yeah.
3 grand. So you're not getting anywhere near the same return as the property.
Hello and welcome back to the Get Rich Slow Club podcast. I'm Tash and I'm here with Bill, who's very impressive. He's got 9 properties by the age of 29. But the coolest thing ever I find about you is they used to be a beekeeper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 1,000 beehives. So,
1,000?
Yeah, still got them, still got the business. Got good staff that do most of the work. But yeah, love the bees and it's a bit different to obviously this. But yeah, good fun.
Amazing. Let's go right back to the beginning. What were your parents or your family like with money?
Pretty normal, I would say. Definitely weren't rich, but definitely if we struggled for money, they would make sure that I didn't know about it. So yeah, we definitely weren't rich. We're probably, middle class or if not a little bit below for a lot of the time. But I think that my parents done a lot to, if there was something that I needed, I always had it. And they both worked very hard, which I think I obviously have picked up, thankfully.
What did they do for work?
Dad was in the bees. Yeah. So yeah, beekeeper, and my mum was a sign writer.
Oh, so cool.
Not much to do with finance or property. No. Yeah, pretty different.
Did you always want to be a beekeeper? Was that just like the family business and you knew that you were going to go into that?
Yeah, I did. I liked it. I started working when I was 10 or 12, something like that. And then always working with Dad, and wasn't that big of a fan of school, didn't like school. So when I was 16, left school and dropped out, and a few people was, telling me I was a drop kick and whatnot because I didn't finish school at the time, obviously, but started working in the bees and went from there.
Yeah. How much money does a beekeeper earn?
At first, it was about 40 grand a year. And that was just, me on basic wage. And then bought my first property. I think I would have been on about 40, 50 grand or something when I bought my first one, which is an investment. But that was back in 2017 as well. So things are a bit different. And then bought up to number 6 while I was just doing beekeeping. And at number 6, I was at about 140K.
Yeah, okay. Crazy, big jump. So
you wouldn't get 6, like when people hear that, you're not getting 6 at 140K now. No. But also when I got the 6th one was at the start of 2022, and I believe interest rates were 2%.
Yeah, so, they were lovely back then.
Yeah, a bit different.
So you were a beekeeper earning 40K. How did you even know that you wanted to buy an investment property? Did your parents buy them? Did anyone in your family buy them? Yeah,
I've always been good at saving. So I've just been I think you're probably similar, but I've just saved all my money, all my life, birthdays, Christmas, canteen money. I'd save it, whatever.
Really? Would you not eat school lunches or anything?
Pretty much, yeah. If I got money for the lunch at school, I would probably rather put it in my money box and, $2, add it up.
How did you even know to do that?
I don't know. I was just tight. It was just in me.
You just liked it.
I don't know.
I always liked the challenge of making more money even as a kid. Like I liked watching things go up, not down. Yeah,
I didn't have an investment. Like I wasn't looking at stocks or anything like that early days or bank interest or anything. I just liked it in my, first it was a money box, and then it was, had cash, $5 notes and $10 notes and all that stuff. So yeah, I always saved, and then when I left school, started working, I was living at home, obviously no expenses, bought a old car that, I had for years, and then all my money I just, saved in the bank, and it was my dad that said, you should actually put this into a property so it's doing something for you.
Awesome.
So that's how I got into it.
Did your parents buy investment properties?
Yeah, Dad has. Yep. And he's always wished that he could have done more. So he was pretty keen for me to get into it as soon as I could. And the first one was when I was 20, turning 21.
Yeah, amazing. My parents kind of, told me to buy shares rather than buy property, but they bought property.
Yeah. That's good. Well, shares, if you are interested in shares, a lot of people have the argument, you would see it all the time, shares versus property, whatever. I don't care. Both are good. Yeah. I'm not interested in shares. I can't get interested in them. I've tried. I'm not interested, but I'm obsessed with property. Okay. So I realize that obviously there's money to make in stocks, and I like businesses, which, if you're buying stocks, you're buying a part of a business, which is cool. But for me, the property, I think about property all day and night. So it doesn't make sense for me to go and put money into something else when I'm so, into the property side of things. I
Yeah.
did do shares in COVID when everything, dropped.
Yeah.
I bought shares.
What did you buy?
Everything speculative.
Oh, really?
Tesla, Afterpay,
Oh,
Zip
perfect.
Pay,
They would have done all
Bitcoin.
quite well.
Yeah, they did. I didn't have much money at the time because I just settled on a property. I had like $5,000 left or something like that. And everything was obviously on sale. And I didn't know a lot about the companies, but I knew, just the Warren Buffett saying, there's
Yep.
blood on the streets, buy up, whatever. So I just bought every week as I had money coming in, I would put it into a new stock. And there was I remember Tesla, it was down 75% or something like that.
Yeah,
and Afterpay, I bought Afterpay. It was like $7, $8, something like that. And then I think I sold it at 130, 140.
Wow.
But I never did it since. So I did probably put in like 5-10 grand total. And that ended up turning into, by the end of probably mid 21, I would say, about 50, 60 grand.
Wow.
And I sold that and put it into a property.
You've had a lot of hard work, but it seems like very good luck with the timing of things as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I didn't buy any more, because I went, I'm definitely not smart enough to get a 10x return on my money in stocks again. So that's why I said, that's it for now.
That's it. I've done that.
Let's go back to property.
Yeah.
Because in property, if I put that into property and leverage it, I don't need to do anywhere near the return to actually get the same cash on cash return, as you would know.
I love shares, and I love that they're not annoying, and I love that they don't email me and things don't break and they don't take up extra time.
You don't have to
and
fix the toilet on a share or
and
a
there's
leaking tap.
property manager forgetting to pay my strata fees again.
Yep.
It's so simple, but unfortunately the government won't let you borrow as much money.
It's very hard.
Yes, as you can with property, which I think is very unfair. And I understand a little bit why they do that with volatility and stuff, but it just kind of sucks that you are pushed a little bit into property if you want to leverage that much. Yeah.
I mean, for most, I think, this is only my opinion, but for most young people, especially if you're using the first time deposit scheme or something like that, you can get into a 600K asset with 30, 40 grand. If that performs at 5%, you've made 30K.
Yeah.
As opposed to, say, you get into $30,000 worth of shares and it grows, even if it grows, 10%, you make what? $300
Yeah.
or $3,000.
Yeah.
$3,000. So you're not getting anywhere near the same return as the property.
It's so sad. I've got $300,000 in shares and they've grown by 112,000, I think it was yesterday, which is great. 100 grand is great. Yeah. But then I bought my apartment in Perth with a $52,000 deposit and that's gone from $295,000 to $600,000. Yeah. And it pays me $600 a week rent.
So you've made a $300,000 return off your 50K investment, which is a 6X.
Yeah.
And your shares have done 112,000 growth, although that wouldn't be off a $300,000 base because you would have started with less.
No, so it was 200. I guess when you take that off. But I started with $1,000 and it's been over 9 years or something. So it's hard to work out, but it's nowhere near the same. Or even the Queensland house I bought has gone up from 820 to 900 in a few months, which is just crazy.
And that's what I'm saying with the stocks. When I bought stocks, I had a 10X, right? But I've had 10Xs in property, cash on cash, but realistically it's only a property going from, I say only, but only 500 to $1 million or something like that. But because I only put in 50 grand or something like that, that return is massive. Obviously though, with property, you've got negative cash flow. So you've got to factor that in. However, if your property goes up 500 grand in 3-4 years and you take off 30-40 grand of negative gearing, you're still doing all right.
So if it keeps going off like it is. But
exactly,
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go too hard initially because I had a few random years where I did a few snow seasons and I got to quit my job and do social media and all this really fun stuff. So I'm glad I didn't have massive mortgages back then, but it is hard to weigh up do you just invest in shares or do you try and take the risk and have a massive mortgage?
Yeah, I think it's if you're comfortable with debt, then property is the way to go. But some people can't stand debt.
Yeah.
So they like stocks. And if you're obsessed with stocks, then you'll do well. Because if you work out the return over, 30, 40 years on stocks at 8, 9, 10%, it's pretty good.
Yeah. It's pretty good as something that's easy and sits there and doesn't send you emails.
Exactly. Yeah.
No more emails.
Yeah. And you don't need to renovate them every 10 years or 15 years or something like that. So it's completely different. I like property because of the leverage. If you couldn't leverage property, then probably it'd be shares, to be honest. It wouldn't be much of a case for property because you get roughly, if you look at a lot of stats, I think shares outperform. The S&P or ASX has probably outperformed the overall property market over the last 50 years, right? But it's just that leverage when you put that in there.
Yeah.
It makes it a completely different
just so many more
equation.
fees with property as well. So many things to break, or so many like stamp duty or random taxes that come in or whatever it is. Property management fees.
Stamp duty, land tax. Yeah.
Yes. Fun.
Yeah. So not much we can do about it though. So you just got to pick what way you go and stick to it.
So you were 20, 21 when you bought your first one?
Yep. 20, it was I think I put it under contract in about September 2017. So it would have been 20. And then when it settled, I think I was 21. It settled, I think it was November.
Amazing. How much was that one?
$390,000.
Lovely. And where?
In Tamworth, New South Wales, if you know where that is.
Yes. How did you decide to buy there?
I couldn't afford, it was the wrong property. So I sold that actually. That's the only property I've ever sold. But I couldn't afford much where I lived, which was Coffs Harbour. And in Coffs for $390, I was getting like a rundown fibro shack, right? And in Tamworth for $390,000, I got this big, beautiful, brand new, it was 2-3 years old, 4 and 2. It was nicer than any house I'd ever lived in, for sure. So I was like, oh my God, look at this.
Amazing.
I own this.
How did you pick Tamworth though? That feels like a random location.
Yeah. It was a place that I'd been familiar with. We take bees out there and stuff like that. And I used to play tennis when I was young, used to go there for tennis. So I was sort of looking around, kind of budget filtered, I guess, and towns that I had some idea of. My dad knew a bit about there too. Yeah. So
I didn't realize you took bees places.
Yeah, we take bees anywhere out to, if you know where Moree is, Gunnedah, stuff like that, 5-6 hours west of the coast.
What do they do there?
They pollinate crops. Canola oil.
Yeah.
So we take them out on the canola out there. And it's
you just like put them on the field.
Put them in the field,
and the bees just fly
and they
around.
fly. Well, yeah, the canola crops are massive, and they're just big paddocks of really nice yellow flowers, actually.
Yeah.
And you put the bees out there, and they pollinate the crop, which increases the yield for the farmer that's growing that, and obviously the bees breed up and get honey. So
amazing.
It's a win-win.
So you went to Tamworth, you took your bees, and you're like, wow, this is a nice place to live as well.
I might buy a house here too.
Yeah.
So I bought it as an investment.
Yeah.
And the reason that it was the wrong property, you've probably put 2 and 2 together already, but it was almost brand new. It was in a greenfields estate on the outskirts of town, and there was, acres and acres of brand new land nearby that they can develop and build the same thing.
Yeah.
So I could have bought a vacant block of land for about 120, 130 grand.
Crazy.
So all the value was in the building. And I sold that property in 2020, I think it was 2021. So 4 years later, I only sold it for $415.
Okay.
So I would have lost money because $390 to $415. And had I have bought in Coffs, that ugly house that wouldn't have rented for as much and didn't look good, wasn't impressive to show my friends or anything like that, it would have went from $390 to probably $750 in
crazy.
that time period. So I looked at it and I thought, it's not the worst. I could have done worse because that property would probably be worth $650 now, something like that. But I sold that and bought in Perth, and that's done better. So
how did you make that decision to actually cut the losses and move on?
Yeah, I just looked at Tamworth market at the time, what it was doing and where I thought it would go for the next 5-10 years. And there was still a lot of land around that property. If I had bought in another suburb in town, I would have done better and I may have held it.
Yeah.
But I was also looking at Perth and thinking how good the value was there at the time. This is in, I think the first Perth one was 2021, about June 2021. And Perth had done nothing for 8 years or gone backwards.
Yes, I have so many regrets of not having more money back then. But
so me too. So that was, I sold that one and got into Perth, and that one would have gone from probably 440 to probably, 850.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the timing just seems to have worked really, really well. Holding property, I guess, the last 5 years or so, things have done incredibly well.
Definitely, yeah.
How do you buy 9 properties? I guess so many people listening to this are like, well, I bought one, I can't borrow anymore. How do you even get to this point of owning 9?
Yeah, good question. So obviously we're doing this now for clients, and a lot of the time people come to us and they might say, they see me or some buyer's agent or broker online that's got, 5, 10, 20. I mean, some of these guys have 100 properties now. Maybe 100 properties, and they come to me and they're like, oh, all I want to do is buy 10 properties in 10 years. And I'm like, I think I've bought 9 in 9 and it's been really hard.
Yeah.
So
it's also cool, but why?
Yeah, exactly. So they think that they need 10 properties for a start to, retire, when in reality, if you actually work out the numbers on 3 or 4, then you'll do pretty well as well. But the other thing is it's not realistic for most people that are on an average income. So why mine's gone, 0 to 9 in, about 9 years, 8-9 years, is good equity growth. So, part of that's picking markets that you think are going to grow, but obviously COVID helped because pretty much everywhere boomed. However, we're still, I've bought properties recently since COVID and they're still doing well because the markets, you pick them when you think they're going to do well, and if you're right, then you get that equity. You want long-term growth first, but if you can get in a market when you think it's going to have that 2 to 3 year growth, and that's how you get the equity for the next deposit. Because I definitely haven't saved nine deposits.
No, but how do you even find? Because it seems like you've been quite successful with it. Like, how do you pick areas that are about to boom?
Well, I went to the first one was Tamworth, so that was a dud. Didn't pick that area when it was about to boom. But then the next three actually. Was it 3? Yeah, the next 3 were Brizzy. So Brizzy, I went Ipswich 2018 and then Redcliffe 2019 and Ipswich again in 2020.
How did you find those suburbs?
Budget.
Did you play tennis there as well?
No, I didn't have bees there. I didn't have bees in Ipswich. No, that came down to affordability. So in 2018, I'd had the one property. I was probably on $65,000, something like 70 grand maybe. I can't remember exactly, but I didn't have much borrowing capacity and I didn't have much cash and I hadn't got any equity out of the Tamworth one because it hadn't grown. So I had like 50 grand or I think it was less, $40,000. So that shrinks your selection a lot. So I went to a broker and he's like, not only do you have
no money,
some money, $40,000, not much, but you also got very little borrowing capacity. I was like, okay, well that rules out a lot of places. So I went shopping for say, up to 250, and I just looked at areas that hadn't boomed in the last few years. And back then, Brizzy hadn't done anything since about 2009. It had very bad growth, and Ipswich obviously has a bit of a stigma as well. So it was just ridiculously good value. I went there in person and some areas were, I didn't want to buy there. I went to a few in Logan. I thought these properties were so good. And then I got there and I was like, didn't want to get out of my car. So I didn't buy those. But bought in Ipswich for 240,000 and it was on 600 square meters, renting for I think $275 a week. And I just thought, I'm 21, 22. How bad can this go? Like it's 40 minutes to the CBD of Brisbane, 6% yield, 630 square meters or something like that with a house that needs nothing doing to it. Yeah. And that house would be 650 to 700 today.
Yeah.
But in terms of picking the actual location, obviously next was Perth. And then after that, end of last year was Vic. And it just came down to, again, Perth hadn't done anything for the last, 8 years.
Yeah.
But you don't want to catch a falling knife and buy in a market while it's on the way down. So just tracking stuff like days on market, vacancy rates, stock on market. So stock on market in Perth 6 years ago, I don't know exactly, but it was like 15,000 listings. And I'm looking at the total listings and it's going from 15,000 to 13,000 to 11,000 to 10 to 9 and the price growth hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
At the same time, rents are increasing because vacancy rates are decreasing and stock on market is, drastically reducing. Days on market also reducing, but all these things happen before the prices actually start to grow.
Yeah.
Same with Vic. So Vic, I bought in Ballarat. We bought properties for clients, Ballarat, early to mid last year. And there was no signs, like all the data on the graphs was still showing it going down. But on the ground, there was more people at open homes, days on market were trending down, vacancy rates were going down, all that sort of thing. Stock on market was coming down. And I'm sure it's not a 100% success rate, but if you've got all the metrics for supply tightening and demand rising, you're probably going to have price growth sooner rather than later.
And you ignored the media or the stigma, it sounds like, because so many people told me.
So bad.
Yeah, so many people said, why would you buy an apartment in Perth? It's the worst thing you could have done. And it's been great. So
I think when you look at the media that's saying this or people in general that are saying this, like the amount of people that told me not to buy in Ipswich or Logan. I had mates that knew the area well.
And lots of people want to buy in
They're
Logan.
like, oh mate, your house is going to burn down. And I was like, okay.
Maybe, we'll see.
I had a mate that asked me, where I bought, and I told him Ipswich and he was like, oh no. oh, mate. And he said, what suburb? And I said, Leichhardt. And he was like, oh, no. He said, what street? I told him the street. He's like, oh.
It's like talking to my grandma.
Yeah. And then what happens is those people a few years later are like, oh, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
You bought there at the perfect time.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to buy there now. I'm like, don't buy there now.
Yeah, it's too late now.
You missed the boat.
Yeah.
So I think if you look at the people that are saying not to do something, look at them and say, have they done what you want to do?
Do you tell people what you're going to do before you do it, or do you wait until you've done it to tell people?
Probably tell them before I do it. I mean, I was posting about Ballarat and Vic online last year it was January, February last year. I went on a podcast and spoke about regional Vic.
Yeah.
And then posting about it on TikTok. And as you can imagine, I got hammered with comments.
Yes, because I
destroyed.
Try and not say things until I've actually decided or done things so people don't talk me out of it. Even with like starting a new business, so many people have told me not to do it. So I've tried to really not say that anymore. But if you built up a strong enough mindset where you're like, oh, it's fine. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take your opinions on board.
Well, after the Ipswich one, everyone said don't do that.
Yeah.
And then they said don't do Perth as well. I was like,
there's enough evidence now for you to be like, I'm actually pretty decent at this.
Exactly. Yeah. I got online, everyone was just, Victoria's not going to grow. It's the states, everything was going wrong in Vic at that time.
There's so much debt, there's so much
all this stuff. And now a year and a half later, it's booming and every single person wants to buy in Vic. So if you're buying when you're hearing about it now in the media, you've missed the boat.
Yeah.
So same with stocks, if you're buying stocks like when someone, for whatever reason, when bad news comes out about a company, something like that, a bad earnings report or whatever, the stock price will take a hit.
Yeah.
But if you know that, I don't know, the PE ratio or whatever, everything's looking good.
We don't even look at that stuff. We kind of just buy and hold index funds usually.
Yeah.
They're all about
that's a different,
which you can't really do
completely
with
different kettle of
property,
fish. Yeah, you can't buy the whole property market. Yeah.
So if you're not you can, I guess, with some funds, but I don't love them that much. But it's not like you can't just bet on the whole market as easily.
That's right.
So it's a bit more tricky. You have to actually really care about the metrics and care about where you're going to buy.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's the same. Yeah, it's the same thing. When people are telling you not to buy a stock for some superficial reason, probably the best time to buy.
Yeah, because the market might crash.
Exactly.
My dad's been telling me the market's going to crash for the last 7 years and it has not crashed that much, really.
It's a hard tune to play, that one, because eventually you'll be right.
Yeah.
But if the market comes back 20% and you've been saying that for 10 years, you don't win.
You're going to be fine.
So, yeah, it's you buy and hold long term, whatever asset it is, you'll be fine.
How much are your properties worth now? All of them together?
Worth? About 6.1, 6.2 mil.
And how much debt do you have?
About 3.2.
Yeah, amazing. How do you feel having $3 million worth of debt?
Don't think about it.
No, never?
No, it doesn't bother me. So I'm negatively geared by about 50 grand a year, which is not ideal. But if I do the maths and go $6 million at, this year, they'll probably do 10% because I've got properties in Perth, Brisbane and Vic. That's 600 grand, negative 50, still up 550.
Yeah.
It's very hard to save that much money. I can't. So, that's that. You just got to look at the big picture. But the debt is not an issue if you know you can pay it. And I also keep buffers in offset so that that covers you a lot as well. If you're going to have $3 million worth of debt, you need I think at least 10% in cash to cover if you lose your job or if business takes a downturn and you've got to fund that negative gearing for a certain amount of time, you can do it. Or repairs. You got 9 properties. There's going to be
more emails.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Have you had really annoying things happen with any of your properties?
Not too bad, touch wood.
Yeah.
nothing terrible. I've been pretty lucky with them so far. I've not had a bad tenant that I've had to kick out or anything like that. I've not had anything damaged. Yeah, not too bad. I've done a lot of, not a lot, but I've done renovations and stuff like that, but it's usually been money that I've put into the property. I've bought the property knowing that I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah, so
bought a property that needs a complete renovation, put $50,000-$60,000 into it, but I knew that going in. So nothing, no horror stories
Amazing.
yet, which can be mitigated by a good property manager as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay, property managers.
Don't try and self-manage.
No.
That, so.
I've had a pretty bad property manager.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they stopped paying my strata fees and the strata company sent me a legal letter trying to chase them up and I was like, I'm pretty sure this wasn't, that was the whole thing. But it's fine,
That's
fine. I moved.
a big part of when I go into a new area, a big part of going in there is actually finding a good property manager because they're the one that's, they got more control of the asset than you. So, that's a big one.
Find a good property manager.
Yeah, you see it goes bad if the property manager's bad, but then also a lot of people try and self-manage and that's not usually the best idea.
You seem very chill.
Very
Are
chill.
you like a super chill person?
I think I don't get too bothered by most things. I mean, if something goes wrong, like we were having dramas with a loan today and it's not ideal, we've got to fix it, figure out what's going on. Or like, if you've got a client that's coming down to the wire, you got to fix the deal for them. But I think getting too stressed about it doesn't make anything happen any faster, especially if you're dealing with a bank or something like that and you're overly stressed. They don't care.
Be angry at them,
Unfortunately, they're not going to pick it up much quicker.
Yeah.
So but most things I don't worry too much about. If you're fine, you're safe. How stressful can it be, really?
Yeah. It's nice to see that you've got that attitude of just like you're going to go and do things. So I feel like a lot of people will spend forever analysing all the options and really overthinking stuff. But it seems like you've just done the thing. You decided you wanted to buy a property, you went and bought one. It wasn't the best. You said, oh, well, I'm going to buy a different one instead.
Well, yeah. What's the worst that can happen? You buy a property and it doesn't grow for a few years. If you have to sell it, you probably break even if it's in a decent location. I mean, it's not life or death, so you'll be right.
Yeah. Have you had something really difficult happen in your life that you kind of use as like an anchor point where it's like things will never be that difficult? So I feel like I've got there's not like super bad things that have happened to me, but I've worked really, really, really stressful jobs before. Yeah. And now anchored against that, I'm like, well, like nothing's ever going to be that stressful again. I'm not like mopping someone's poo off the roof of the building again. Like it's,
exactly. For me, when I was 16, my mum got diagnosed with leukemia. And then when I was 17, she died. And that was very hard. Yeah. So watching her go through a year's worth of, chemo and hospital and all that stuff, and then for it not to work and, watch her lose the fight. And, now if I got a flat tire or something in my car, it's not a problem. Yeah. So, and also I think about a lot of the time, if something's going wrong, whether it's at work or personal life or whatever, I'm in Australia, I'm safe. I'm not going to get bombed in my sleep. It's okay. So you don't have that much to complain about.
No, it's a good perspective to have. Yeah. Because I think it's easy to scroll past on TikTok and see your videos of you being like, I think you see your videos of you like, I'm 28 and I've got 8 properties and I've done all this stuff and it's done really, really, really well. Yeah, no, not that. It's like the confidence is there, but you don't see all the stuff behind the scenes of like, people have been through things and they've like really tried hard to make this work. Yeah.
I think that with most stuff I do, like the online stuff, I'll talk about, eight properties and I'm 28 or whatever. I know the video you're talking about, me out the front of a property. Yeah. Again, that video got a lot of hate, but I knew that would trigger people when I posted it. However, to be honest, that video went quite viral and I got a lot of leads off the back of it. Yeah. So, a few people, a few hundred people, you might say nasty things about me online, whatever. A lot of them are like, spoon-fed, all this stuff, or some of them are just so bad. But they're not my clients anyway. No. If it usually, I said this on Sam's podcast, he said, how do you deal with the hate? And I said, I'd click on them and it's usually someone by looking at their profile that's very unhappy with their own life. I don't ever click on a profile of a hater and it's some, guy or a girl that's got their life together, got a family, got a career, all that sort of thing. It's usually some dude that's gaming in his garage or whatever, doing nothing, sad and looking for a way to make himself feel better. And for some reason that's trying to tear other people down that are doing something.
Did you ever get upset at the comments?
No.
No, you never had a moment of like, oh, wow.
No.
No, incredible.
No.
I had a few moments because I didn't realize the world was that. I didn't think the world was that mean. Yeah. I worked in like a very like female dominated space, I guess, in healthcare. Yep. And then going into this space where there's still a lot of very sexist people out there, I was very shocked that the world was still like this because I thought we had moved forward with it.
Well, I don't get that.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's lots of like daddy's money comments or like you must do OnlyFans. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, interesting. I didn't realize we were here again. Yeah, cool.
Has that bothered you?
I did initially because I wasn't expecting it. And my stuff went viral pretty quickly and I was quite young still. I was like 21, 22 when I started posting. So I was like, wow. Like if something gets 1 million views on TikTok and you've got like hundreds of people hating you out of nowhere and you didn't quite expect it.
And it goes for days. Yeah. And they argue with each other and notifications just, Yeah, so it initially got to me, but now it's like I can predict the comments. If it's something new that I've never predicted, I'm like, wow, I didn't realize I had to be self-conscious about that as well. Yeah. Or like I had to be wary of that because there's some really niche ones like people got upset at me for having microwave rice. Because of microplastics and because how dare I talk about saving money and then not use the cheapest option available.
Yeah. Just stuff like that. Where it's like your brain doesn't even like think of that stuff. You're like, wow, I couldn't even predict that is something someone would think about.
Yeah, I've had the same thing.
Yeah.
Not the same, but similar, like just stuff that you don't expect out of nowhere. It's just, I had a Daily Mail article went viral on Facebook, and the comments on there, I was just reading them and just thinking, how do you get these ideas?
Yeah.
Like where did this come from?
Yeah, you've made all this
And there was
stuff
this guy once that commented on one of my posts. This is the best one ever. I'm going to repost it because it was so funny.
Yeah.
But I put up that video of me buying those 2 properties. I said, this is my 7th and 8th investment property. This is what they are. He commented on it and he said, I was at the auction for the second property. It's sold to an elderly couple. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. And I was like,
okay.
Really, mate? Really?
That one property, are you sure?
That property didn't go to auction. I bought it, a private treaty. And I just replied to his comment and screenshotted the actual title deed from the property and put it behind me. And I was just like, where did you get this idea? Like, well done.
Great.
To just completely make something up on the internet and say that you were at the auction, which the property was never an auction campaign. No. So,
people are so confident.
I don't know what the go is.
Something I get asked all the time that I do reflect on is what do you think about the ethics of owning investment properties?
As in having multiple?
Yes.
I think that to be honest, I think if I don't own them, someone else will. And realistically, the government can't provide housing for as cheaply as investors do. Most of the investors that own investment properties have 1 or 2, which is mum and dad's. And, you got stuff like negative gearing that people go on about and all that sort of thing. But the reality is there's a lot of people out there that can't afford to buy a house, even if they want to.
Yeah.
So renting is the best option. Like I say, if the government wants to try and replace the private investors, good luck, because they were going to build homes, a few years ago, 1 million, and they've built about 7.
Yeah.
So it's just not going to happen. I think people are quick to hate investors. Most investors are taking a hit, at least in the first few years. Properties are negatively geared, so they're actually losing money. And the reality is, if anything, I think we need more investors because we've got a rental crisis in this country too. Yeah. We need more houses and more investors.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it. I know that a lot of people, obviously, they have a go. Evil landlords pushing the prices up and stuff like that. But the reality is most of the time when prices get pushed up, it's from owner-occupiers as well. Yeah. Because they're buying with emotion, whereas investors are buying with numbers. And if it doesn't hit their numbers, they'll cap out at a certain level. And the owner-occupiers will be emotional, wanting it because of the view or the garden or the location next to their parents or whatever. Yeah. And they'll generally bid the price up more than an investor. However, some markets at the moment, you could argue, definitely getting up by investors. Yeah.
I think the issue is when people hate on individuals rather than on the government or people who could change policies. Because I feel like I am the target of a lot of hate, but it's not like me owning 2 properties is really going to make that much of a difference. And that energy should be targeted towards the institutions or other things. But yes.
The other thing is we buy an investment property and we renovate it. So it's a job for the builder, the guy that makes the kitchen, the painter,
or I feel like I'm a nice
property manager.
Landlord. I know it's a horrible thing to say and people will not like that, but I feel like I put aircons in the Brisbane property, which I didn't have to do. Yeah. But it's like stuff like that where you can be like a nicer landlord and still be a good person. Yeah,
you shouldn't treat tenants badly just because you own the property and they rent it. That's different to, I think, the ethics of owning investment properties because that's the ethics of, being a good person, treating a person in a certain way. But in terms of people owning multiple properties, do you need 100, 200? Yeah, probably not. But if that's what someone wants to do, then that's what they want to do. At the end of the day, the government can't do it any better than the private investors can. Yeah. So that's the other option, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, no, good answer. You were a beekeeper.
Yep.
What job did you do after that?
Beekeeping until I was from 16 or full-time from 16 to 26 and I still do it a bit.
Oh, and then straight to mortgage broking.
Yeah, and then I started broking. I didn't plan on it. It was an accident really. Oh. Definitely didn't plan it. But as I was doing bees, I was buying properties. And when you go to a broker and you want to buy your first property, everyone can do it, right? But when you go to a broker and you want to buy your third or fourth and you want to put it in a trust or a company, most brokers don't know how to do it or think it's too hard and don't want to help you. So I thought I'll get my mortgage broking qualification because I was frustrated because I couldn't find a good broker. So I thought I'll get my mortgage broking qualification, then I'll write my own loans. I'll write, if my dad needs a loan or my friends, family need a loan, I'll do it for them. That's how it started. I didn't plan on any of this. It just happened.
Great. So how did it end up happening? You realized you were good at it?
I got qualified.
Yeah.
And then the first year I didn't advertise or anything anywhere. When I had the initial idea, I didn't realize how much was involved in setting a business in broking up, as you will know, licensing and payment for this, payment for that.
It's good when you don't know almost.
No, there's a lot. Yeah, if I knew it, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But I didn't analyze it much. I just said I'm going to do it. So yeah, got qualified, got signed on. And then, the first year I just did deals for family, friends, stuff like that. And then I'd done about 12 million worth of deals in the first year.
Yeah, well.
Which is not a lot, but I was working, it's okay for a first year.
Isn't it quite good compared to how much like the average
broker writes 12 mil a year.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
And you were beekeeping.
Yes, but I don't know what they're doing. That's not a good stat. I mean, it is. That's a stat. But yeah, I did 12 mil while I was doing, 80 hours a week of bees.
How much do you make from writing 12 mil in loans?
In upfronts, 0.65. So $145,000.
You're like, wow,
something like
all
that.
This money if you're a beekeeper?
No, because I wouldn't have profited much. It would have been, I had expenses and stuff like that, not many expenses, but also I think by the time I'd actually done the tax return, I had all my initial setup fees and stuff like that as well that came off them. So it wouldn't have been much profit, maybe 50 grand profit or something like that. And also like we say 0.65, but then you got GST that comes off that. You got net of offset as a broker as well. So that 145 might have been 120 or something like that. And then all my setup costs and everything like that and stuff that I wrote off. I did a few courses and that sort of thing, which of course can be like, 5, 10 grand, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, second year started doing more and I started a TikTok account. Yeah. And then that's kind of where it took off.
Yeah. Did it take off straight away?
No, I posted every day for a month and no one cared. No one watched. I didn't get more than 200 views. And I just thought, well, it's okay. It's not hurting. I'm not, I'll keep going. And I was doing faceless content as well because I didn't want to, I really didn't want to put my face online at all. And I did that for about 2-3 months. A few videos started taking off, started getting momentum. I had about 3,000 followers and then I switched it and put my face on there. And then when I think about it, then it probably took off because people started attacking me in the comments and then, making my videos go viral. But I had a couple videos that went very viral. One, I got 60 bookings overnight in my Calendly. And that was when I was like, holy shit.
This is a thing.
This works. So I ended up putting on a staff member soon after and it's just gone from there.
How many years have you been in business now?
This is the third year. Yeah.
How much does the business make now, if you're happy to share?
Yeah, well, we did about 85K in comms this month.
Wow. How many staff do you have now, though?
10. So that's a mixture of onshore and offshore. I don't know how much I'll make this year, to be honest. Like
wait and see.
You're asking me, I said, I don't know, maybe 500,000.
In profit?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
If it all goes well, everything goes to plan.
Do you pay yourself a salary?
150 I pay. That's actually the 85 was from the broking. But yeah, obviously I'm doing other things and doing the buyer's agency and the bees still. But yeah, I pay 150 and then that's basically pays for the negative gearing on my properties and my personal living expenses and other profits I plan just to keep in the company for now, build up buffers in the company and have that as a safety net down the line.
Amazing. What's your do you have a bigger financial goal? Do you want to scale and then sell? Do you want this to be your big business and you take over the whole property market?
I get this all the time and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I feel like, I said this to you the other day, but I got 9 properties now. I feel like I should get 10.
10 by 30?
Well,
nice round number.
Well, that meme, have you seen that meme of that guy in the US? It's like, if you get 10 rental properties by the time you're 30, have you seen that?
No.
I'll show you later. But I feel like, I'm at 9. I'll probably do one more, but I don't necessarily need more.
Yeah.
I was talking to Sam the other day and he's like very excited for me. He's like, this is going crazy, 1 to 10, 11 staff, whatever it is in a year. You can now do 10 to 20, 30, whatever. But I don't really want to do that. We're lodging 20 mil months now in terms of loans and obviously doing the buyer's agency too. I want to just get it to a stage where it's more sustainable.
Yeah.
So
does that mean more sustainable for you time-wise?
Everyone. Yeah. For everyone because we've grown so quick. It's been hard and you're not operating efficiently when you're putting on a new staff member every month either.
Yeah.
So ideally get it to, plateau out, systems in place that make everything smoother and make it more sustainable for everyone.
Yeah. Amazing.
So
You've done so
I want
much.
to do 200 mil this year in loans, which I've been putting out there, which I think I'm going to fail on. But I originally was going to set a 120 target and we're going to smash that. So by setting the 200, the 120 seemed insignificant and now will probably be that easy. So yeah.
How do you feel about failing goals? You seem to not mind.
I mean, no, there'll probably be someone again on the internet that, you failed.
People love to hold
you
you
did 150 mil, not 200.
You did 199.
Yeah,
How
I'll
dare
be like,
you? Yeah.
all right, Dave,
Yeah.
you collected Centrelink all year and sat on your butt playing Xbox. Like, is what it is.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. If people want to come and follow your fun TikToks and see you buy your 10th property, where can they find you?
Bill Childs LLG on TikTok and Insta. Yeah, that's about it.
Amazing.
Follow along, watch some somewhat controversial stuff at times, but most of it's just having fun.
I want to see some more bee content.
Yeah, I've done a bit, but
okay.
I should do more.
Bring back the bees.
Yeah, I will.
Amazing. Thank you.
All right, Tash, thank you. Good to be here.
Yay. Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us. If you found this episode helpful, please rate us 5 stars, write a review, or share with a friend. If you're new to investing, make sure to listen to our first 10 episodes. Follow us at Get Rich Slow Club or Tash at Tash Invests or me at Ana Cristina.
The Get Rich Slow Club podcast is a collaboration between Tash Etchman from Tash Invest and Ana Cristina from Perla. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to investing. So make sure you check out our financial services guides and read the product disclosure statement and target market determination for any investments you're considering. See our show notes for more info. Any advice is general and does not consider your financial situation, needs, or objectives, so consider whether it's appropriate for you. This show was brought to you by Natasha Etchman, who is an authorized representative 1299881 of Guideway Financial Services, AFSL 420367, and Perla, who is an authorized representative 1281540 of Sanlam Private Wealth, AFSL 337927. The Get Rich Slow Club acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land we record on. From coast to coast, across land, waters, and communities, we pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging.